Now, the NTSB is still working on its preliminary report at Bradley International Airport after a vintage B-17 crash, and that's expected, the report it is, to come out as early as tomorrow. Meanwhile, the plane's owners, the Collings Foundation, are trying to keep the rest of their fleet up in the air.
However, Senator Richard Blumenthal is asking the Federal Aviation Administration to first review its process allowing these vintage planes to fly. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Mike Savino is joining us here right now in the studio with more on the campaign that's underway tonight. Mike?
Yes, and Mark and Denise, the Collings Foundation has already seen plenty of support from the public, 760 comments or so already in the last week. And despite last week's tragedy, the enthusiasts tell us that these planes are safe.
Well, Collings Foundation reputation has always been terrific. The safety level is unbelievable.
Jerry O'Neill owns Airedales, a company that specializes in airshow operations. He's organized or worked with air shows around the country, at times working with the Collings Foundation. Wednesday, the Collings Foundation asked supporters like O'Neill to help their bid for Federal Aviation Agency exemptions for their 9 vintage planes. The Massachusetts-based company owns the B-17 that crashed on October 2nd at Bradley International Airport, killing 7. Collings says its planes can't meet the rules for commercial and private planes. Exemptions going back to at least 2007 have come with special conditions allowing Collings to fly the planes, including for passengers. U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal repeated his calls today for the FAA to first review its process.
They are vintage airplanes, older than many others. They present their own particular safety challenges.
The Collings Foundation's exemption expires in March. It applied for a renewal in August. Blumenthal says the FAA needs to act quickly.
The FAA ought to move forward to protect safety right away.
But more than 760 people have already voiced their support for Collings. One of them is Christopher Soltis, curator of the Connecticut Air and Space Center in Stratford.
If that B-17 was restored and flyable tomorrow, I would get on it for a flight, no questions asked.
Soltis and O'Neill have both flown on the 909, 1944 B-17 that crashed. O'Neill says he understands the calls for scrutiny after a tragedy, but he also says vintage planes already go through a rigorous process to ensure their safety.
And he's probably more dangerous going to his interview or his press conference in his car than he was flying on one of those airplanes.
Now, the FAA says the comment period lasts for 20 days, which will last until late October. The FAA then has 120 days to make its decision. Reporting live from the newsroom, Mike Savino, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.